Yeah, it's Hong Magnus. So Abed up against Hong down mid. So it's a Magnus versus Bat lane. That's a pretty decent lane for both sides. I think you've got some mobility in the Magnus kind of turnaround, but if you're sticky neighborhood up, it's a risk. You also have the skewer plays, so it's a back and forth there. IYD Sven, laning with Oracle, straightforward lane. It's not one that the Sven should be bugged out on. March loves his Oracle, of course. You've got that BB on the offlane snap. So Jokam on the Earth Spirit, and that one is a bit of a treat. It's been a while, but Jokam does perform excellently on that Earth Spirit. Should be one to watch out for. Bombi on the CM. Again, we talked about the combination. CM plus Jug is fairly scary. Once you hit that level 3 spike, so level 2 spin, level 2 root, lock them in. You should find a kill. It is a bit tricky against a Timber Saw, but Timber is super weak until he hits like level 3 himself. So that's something 496 can look to maximize, look to bully out, and maybe find an early kill in the Timb. What is it? The party or... For a moment, I thought Luna snuck into the room. Okay, now I've got to watch the stream, you know. Wait, you're telling me Chris snuck behind you? Chris or Nick? I love it. I wish I could catch that. I'm not sure where it is. Still, we're going into the game, Mike. We're going in. We're fine. We're progressing here. 496. Now, they need to find a win. This is their last series, Mike. They drew their series yesterday, so there's a lot of pressure to get this one as a clean 2-0. But of course, Among Us, top team. They might not, they're probably going to make that as hard as possible. Now, you have to remember they did play a series a while ago. There was a 20-minute break because of that. But you are still playing back-to-back. So that might be a factor here. Let's see if Among Us can kind of shake off that first game and get something done. But 496, they are smoked up and they're looking to run down hard.
Normally. 골드 부활 못해! 골드 부활 못해! 나이스!
30 seconds to battle. The battle begins.
Lakad matataw! Normally.
You look stunned.
It's a pretty darn good start for Sven. Now, take a peek at mid first. Of course, that's our Magnus versus Bat Rider lane. And Abed should have a good time here, but Hung goes with level 1 in power, is ready. Instant magic wand on the deck, as you'd want up against a Bat Rider. So you should be able to hold his own. But Abed shouldn't be too pressured as well. We'll see how it unfolds. I think level 3 is the spike we're looking for. And it's those first power runes as well, although they are rolling down bot. IYD. Yeah, it's...
Radiant's courier has been killed.
It's a pretty fantastic start here for our CM. All things considered, still regening up quite nicely. Now, we did talk about the spikes of Cuckoo and said that his start is a bit slower. He's just uncontested. Bombi not able to really soak some EXP to get a fast 2. They're gonna have it now, but I don't think Drew is in a position to really leverage it. So Cuckoo should be able to ramp up quite nicely. And you know, we tend to say this, but when you are up against a Timbersaw, you want that first blood against this hero. Level 1 is just such a slow start for it, but it doesn't look like 496 have really invested the resources to get that done.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh!
First blood, right off the bat.
That's a pretty big win for Abed. I think you're going to be happy overall with that kind of result. You forced a rotation mid, that doesn't really do anything, so you're freeing up your side lanes, which helps IYD farm. You've already had a bit of a slow start bot for 496, so, you know, Dat, BB, and Jokam just not finding the pressure onto IYD. Slowing down this Earth Spirit is a pretty big deal. You know, you're not going to get those successful rotations. Is going to be up before the 4-minute runes, but looks like Jokam might want to just commit and keep some vision out for those power runes, kind of prevent Abed from sniping something nice like a haste. Oh, it is a haste. Oh my god.
Have to risk it. My horse will have your head.
Oh boy. Is that a curse or did I bless Abed? You know, I didn't curse for him. I blessed Abed there. I blessed him. I gave him that haste. Haste on demand for you, Abed, just for you. Still, you know.
Dire's middle tower is under
Hey,
attack.
I know about the tick server. Maybe, man. You never know. Still, they have to watch these runes. Abed now, you know, level 5. He gets to pull the wave. He gets to clear the camp. And Hong, a full level behind. Not a pleasant start. He's going to have to share farm with his Jug. There is a lot of reliance now on the Snap, on the Earth Spirit, and even on CM to buy some space out mid-game, clear the jungle out, get some stacks going, because that's how 496 bounce back now. They're 2k behind at 5 minutes. That's pretty significant for the laning phase.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Boy.
That's what I'm talking about. Thought I could.
Cool. Oh, for sure. You're just dancing right now. You went 5-0. You got clipped at the end, but you're making this Magnus lane living hell. You forced 2 TPs from supports. And no, you forced the entire offlane to go up there. Jokam and that BB kind of having to diverge towards that mid. Again, freeing up space for IYD already, has the Morbid Mask. Might have the Massive Madness already flying out? Yeah, he does. So that's like a sub 7-minute mom, naked with no boots, but now to the bracer on top. Free farm Sven lane. And even that top lane, it's a Timbersaw lane. You know, Cuckoo is also finding some pretty darn good farm. A full wave ahead of Drew. So every single lane here being won out by Among Us, and 496, they're gonna have to find some recovery. They're gonna have to get some stacks up, play with the Magus, play with the Empower to catch up here.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
No.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, and you can see again, 496 are just forced to clump up a lot more early on, trying to counteract this aggression we're seeing from Abed. And they're at the point where they can't really contest that Cuckoo lane. You kind of have to surrender to this Timbersaw, really early top tier 1 being melted down. They're not in position to get their own push just yet. So all they can do is sit back, farm with this Empower, hold out. They do have 6.BB. We saw the first kisses not really line up too much. I mean, it did at least get them that one kill, but it's not really enabled any objectives. And that BB is just going to keep that bot lane constantly shoved in. But again, if they don't get these objectives, then there's nothing to stop Among Us. This is just free space for IYD. Mom in the jungle. He doesn't need Battle Fury. He doesn't need Empower. It's a Sven. He's always just going to naturally farm a bit faster at this point in the game.
Dire are scanning.
Oh.
What happened?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I'd say that's a pretty big pickup for them. They don't have to contend with creep waves be getting cut out. And they do manage to inject some gold into themselves. So the trio is finding some pickups to play against and kind of punish here. And they need a bit more though. Oh, you definitely are. That drags the lead down to just 1k now for the side of Among Us. 496. This is something that we talked about from draft. Drew is able to go for a bit more of a fighting build. The Mask of Madness tends to be more for farming, but with the Omni it can be for fighting, although
Dire's middle tower is under attack. has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Ooh.
One horn.
Oh, jeez.
Damage of 2. That's exact.
That's really unfortunate for Among Us.
Dire's
You really want that
bottom
kill in the
tower
jug,
is under
prevent him from getting his farm up. Yeah, Drew is within 100 gold of our Sven, so that's a really good point for the jug. And again, he can fight a little bit better because of how Mom interacts with Omni Slash now. It's just so nice to have that the additional slashes coming through. And you can see 496, they're hitting a stride, they're smoked up, they're trying to hunt around the triangle, barely missing out on IYD. They're trading away their bot tier 1 though, but it's not the lane they particularly care for anymore. And they are feeling confident. The farm. There's a double damage on Hong. He's got his Echo Saber flying in as well. And they've got damage. They've got ways of getting out in front. They just need to blink on this Magnus, and then you're pretty much good to go fully on 496.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
No need to risk it. It's a huge rotation at the back line of 496 to prevent any further push. Now there is still a 3k lead here from Among Us. They're still fairly happy even with that support sort of trade a while ago. But I think one thing that's hurting for Among Us right now is the fact that, you know, Cuckoo's not really on a snowball start. He's still up there in farm, but it's all rather even between all of our cores. We're not seeing Cuckoo able to cut through between the tier 2, tier 3 just yet. Does have his Hood of Defiance, so that should simplify the process. But 496's response to the Timbersaw has been pretty apt, although Bombi might be a bit too far. Yeah, they're still buying space out here. Blink for Hong is about 900 off. Again, once you've got that, easier time to land the RPs. You're always just empowering Drew, so he is keeping pace with IYD, although IYD does pull slightly ahead. And speaking of IYD, the Halberd is about to come out here. So just lacking the Talisman into the recipe, about 600 gold away from both. Once you've got that, the Jug has to be very careful with when he tosses his Omni. He can potentially toss the Omni while disarmed, and you're not having a good time if that happens.
Normally, if you rise, I'll just shoot you again. Normally.
This is just my fault.
It is. Like they've slowed down the pace of Abed and Cuckoo. These are the two cores that get caught out, and they definitely are. They still found a bigger end of the trade. They did buy back in Bombi for No real gains, but you're fine with that. It's just your pause 5. Among Us, though, they still hold on to a 3k lead, although... Ooh, wow, Hung, brave. Almost melts Suffer right there. And you are seeing this Magnus really start to flex itself, right? Blink, Echo Saber, Hung is really strong now. They will have RP in about 25 seconds, and once that's up, you know, 496 could just look to do it again.
Bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, I think the BKB is okay here, considering that, I mean, you've got this Oracle that can save you, but you still want to have free reign for the most part, especially if you expect 496 to play smart and target March first, which they have whenever they can. So I think a little bit of independence on In Your Dream is going to be very helpful, and I just need to wait. It's a waiting game, although Hong knows where Cuckoo is.
Radiant are scanning. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Wait, no. No!
Radiant's middle tower is
Did we?
under
That
attack.
was pretty much a full team wipe on a full team wipe.
Lakad mo to, Tol! Normally.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous from both sides. I mean, today was hairy Dota. That's a very hairy fight. You know, that was not clean at all for both sides. Really good start, though, from 496. The RP is just doing a lot of work. IYD needs more damage. IYD needs more damage, and he needs that BKB. A little bit more patience here from Among Us has to be the play. The net worth lead has dropped, although March...
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Ooh. Yeah, even Dota Plus has kind of shifted. 41% the way of Among Us now, 59 the way of 496. It was slightly Among Us favored earlier, but they have kind of dropped the ball. They need to line up their spell use a bit better. Really start to find some fights. They need Cuckoo to somehow be a little bit tankier as well. He's going for this Lotus Orb. That's going to help massively. But once it's up, it needs to get up. So now you're sharing farm between Cuckoo, Abed, and IYD. All of them need to find these key items. There's a little bit less map to play with compared to 496. Like, Drew is just having a free run here. Hung is just keeping them power up. He pretty much just needs his BKB recipe. And then he's set. Like, they can give so much space away to the Jug in this game. They don't require as much on their other cores now that these initial items have been formed up. And they can look to make some plays. They've got the Gobble up ready to go. They've got the Kisses. They've got RP. They could just look to fight. still have RP though. Gotta be careful with the clump up here if you're Among Us. They do have that BKB and Lotus Orb, but I think 496, they're not too scared of that buyback.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Strange, Hong did not get off an RP at all. He might be able to get one here though.
Sean has fallen to the radiant.
I'm wondering where Hung was. I really expected the RP to come in when they saw Drew getting caught out. It just never did, and that cost them in the fight. They had their spells ready. They even had kisses on hand, but they couldn't line it up 496. And Among Us do manage to turn it. Like, they only expend God's Strength and the lasso, but no, not even the lasso. They hold on to the egg. They've got options here for the next fight. Second life up when IYD BKBs are up. There is an MKB up on Drew, so there is additional damage now on your Jug. It's still rather even, though I wouldn't say 496 is at a disadvantage. They just need to play with these spells.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh god, what? That's a massive missed opportunity. It's gonna allow Among Us to kind of find more angles. Like, this frees up that top push. They're confident they can clump up now. IWD can kind of get the damage in if he wanted. Drew is alone. That's a pretty scary spot. He is gonna have Omni soon, so there might be an opportunity.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Not quite lined up for 496. They're still working their way down bot, and by the time they're there, their top two is just gonna fall. So good moves out from Among Us. They can go to defend if they wanted to.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Now, nobody wins.
Lakad mo to! Normally.
They managed to get a good scan out to know that the chase was still on, so they just pull all the way back. Really good use of that scan, and 496 get to kind of wait out. Now they can just fully wait for that RP. They can be the initiators. And they can kind of set the terms of this next fight. They might want to wait though. I think Drew needs that Ags that he's saving up for, but looks like they'll just go.
Don't you sass me.
Lakad mo to! Normally.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh. Oh my god.
Just right. Quanto bravo te! Quanto bravo te! Nice shot!
Yep, it's just a very slight lead now for 496, but it's a good sign for their momentum. They have managed to wrangle control back, and Among Us are just kind of sitting in this Aegis. They don't have too long left on IYD's Aegis. Just about, I don't know, 15 seconds left, so it's gonna go soon. I think if they wanted to fight, that would have been the fight. They needed to drag their bodies down. When they saw the RP come in, they could have had some follow-up, but it was a bit too disjointed, and 496, you know, they're in a pretty good spot. There is a smoke here, though, Among Us, but they have to know that Aegis is gonna go, and it does.
Crystal me!
Nice crack.
Something is showing.
You get yours.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is falling. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, he's just trying to shove back. He knows there's no way to break his TP just yet. Just clears out the wave, prevents a further push into the tier 3. They do still end up losing that tier 2 though, but to deal with the high ground is still a bit risky as well. Now, there are some good items being picked up here from 496 though. The Silver Edge finished up on Hung, so you can kind of walk around, have another angle for initiation, break the Timber Saw, and that could make it hard for Cuckoo if he hasn't built up his stack. So he's got to be aware of that break coming in now. And 496 again, they've got the Ags up on Drew, as you mentioned, was very close. It's up now. They can look to make a smoke play. They've got Gobble Up, they've got Kisses, they've got RP. 496 should look to be on the offensive once more.
That as tribute.
What have we here?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
They're gonna throw their bodies out. Fortify was expended, so they should be able to get that done. Looks like, I mean, Among Us don't really have an objective to trade. They've already taken top and mid, so there's really not much they can do if they don't defend, and they don't. But they let it slide through, and 496 does get to pick up an outpost for themselves. It is a bit too late, as, you know, we are well past the 30-minute mark, but that does give them access into that jungle. They've got a TP point to play with now, and they keep farming up. They're building up a nice little lead, or at least maintaining that 1k lead. I would like to see that reveal on the Silver Edge soon. I think you do want to use these spells. You've got a huge advantage over Among Us in terms of the overall team fight. And keep that pressure, because you look at IYD, Mike, Ags is up. It's going to be the AC next into that Daedalus. Our Sven is starting to hit those very big timers that the Sven tends to love.
You should not have crossed me.
looks like 496 is not confident with a man down. I think they want to see him around. They have been getting some value from these freezing fields Bombi has been throwing out, and they just can't get an angle. Maybe this time with a Silver Edge, Hung? But Among Us have kind of splintered off now. They are doing the Roche, or at least Cuckoo's trying to bait it. A really big objective for Among Us to take now. That's going to be the second Roche. So Aegis Cheese on there, and 496 maybe pulling a bit too much from onto D now. Like the damage output of our Jug is just not that amazing while the Oracle gets to live. You have to also remember, this is like a physical core against Sven, right? Like even with the MKB, most of your damage is going to be from your actual physical right clicks. And you have to remember, Warcry is 15 bonus armor. That just mitigates a lot that the Sven wants to pump out. You've already got natural tanky heroes here as well, like Timbersaldo, Cuckoo.
Normally.
Invisibility!
Yeah, it's I mean, you're not going to question that if you're 496. You can be very pleased with grabbing that, and it does allow them to just kind of get some space going, but the lead for Among Us is still growing. It's up 3k now. Drew is still #1 in farm, so he's just making use of this Magus quite well. Can just instantly buy out the Scotty, which should help the cause. At the very least, more stats, a nice little slow. One way to kind of mitigate that regen that does fly through here from Among Us with this Oracle Phoenix. And kind of work that into their way now as they are trying to invade the jungle. Their scan does not reveal anything though. Like they'll catch anyone, but they might catch him on the low ground.
Just fine.
They've stalled long enough that the AC is up here for IYD, so additional tankiness can be hard to rip through him.
bottom tower
That is
is
such a
under
big
attack.
win for 496. They get the 4K lead. They've got a clear shot at the high ground. They have so much to play with. They are going for bot instead. They want to get some racks fast. It's going to be a big one. They're going to be racks up. I don't think they know that the Sven does not have buyback. I think they suspect that there is. That's why they're skipping the tier 2 and just going for the safer play. They should still go down fast though. And they've got to hold out somehow. There are only 2 heroes. Abed's respawns for too long, but he doesn't want to buy back so close. And looks like they'll just surrender 2 racks. 1 racks for now.
Middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Haste!
It's just so important for them to kind of hold on to their slot here. Again, they're barely in the lower bracket starter for playoffs. And if they get this one, I think they hammer in that spot. So let's see if they can hold on. There is an AC now up as well on Hung. Again, you know, it's one of those things. When you see an enemy AC, your own AC is one way to counteract that because of its own plus armor aura, minus armor aura, counteracting the other one. So you've got a way now to negate that durability from IYD, at least from his pickup. There needs to be more damage. IYD is just having some damage issues here. Hold on.
Normally.
I like it. They just want the win. They're not going to take their time. They're not going to give openings. Can they execute here though? They still have RP. IYD's got to find an angle if he wants to defend.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower